Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Video Truder, welcome back to Crusader Kings 3, with an early look at the brand new DLC, Northern Lords, which I have got my hands on just a little bit early, and this is a sponsored video, because, okay, gonna be straight up with you here. When Paradox email me, and they say, you can have the new DLC for Crusader Kings, and you can have it early, and we want to pay you for it, I'm not gonna say no, okay? That just wouldn't make a huge amount of sense. Now, as you may well have guessed from the name of the DLC, this is all about the Norse, Vikings, all of that good stuff. So, first up, thank you very, very much to Paradox for enjoying my first series of Crusader Kings 3 so damn much, they decided to dedicate an entire DLC to it. Much appreciated, right there. So across Iceland, tiny bits of Britain, and all across Scandinavia, yeah, there's a whole bunch of new stuff, a whole bunch of new flavour, new units, new assets, but more importantly, perhaps the most important thing of all, this expansion helps the Vikings feel a bit more Viking. There's a lot that's been added to incentivise Viking expeditioning, which is rather exciting. Unless you're not a Viking and just happen to live near them, in which case, yeah, bad news for you, actually. Also, highly importantly, as you can probably hear in the background there, yeah, there's some real new bops for the Vikings, loving the new music. So, as we're going to be doing a little bit of, you know, sailing around or whatever, how about this little unassuming count right here? Alright, right on the edge of the North Sea. Oh, look at all that lovely, luscious territory. We're starting in 867, obviously, you know, Viking age seems appropriate, but, not this guy, though. No. Into the ruler creator we go, because I've got something special in mind. So, say hello to Otter. I'm sure it should be pronounced like Ottar, but no, he's Otter to me and always will be. Strapping young lad, who's obviously, you know, ready for the Viking life. Good military education, he is lusty, he is angry, he is zealous, making him very good when it comes to the old murder, alright? Martial and prowess, very, very good indeed. Not so great in other ways, but that's fine. He may not be able to manage his own money spectacularly, but that's okay, because he can manage other people's money by going to their houses and hitting them with an axe, and then taking it back with him on his boat. And also, though he doesn't really talk about this one in public so much, he's a poet. Yes, that's very important too. This isn't just Northern Lords, by the way, it's also the new 1.3 update, so, yes, we're going to be wanting a poet, trust me. And we got a load of beautiful new hairstyles, by the way. So, here we go. Jarl, or Young Vigman, or Old Berserker. Long with two braids. Lots of lovely hair. Like that one. Like that one. The beard's where the real star of the show is. So, obviously, we could say that this guy is a grizzled Varangian. But no, that'd be unfair. He hasn't gone and been a Varangian yet. That would be lying, damn it. I'd say aspiring Viking, that's just the thing. That we could just have more braids. Oh, that's a lot of braids right there. Okay, we might get him that later if we feel he deserves it. You've also got a good selection of, yes, lovely Viking bathrobes right over here. I like that one. That one's nice. I like the trim on that one. Viking headwear, because, okay, sure, you could wear a really good helmet or a good crown, but it's probably cold out. In fact, it's definitely cold out. We'll get to that in a second. But yes, how about a nice warm cap, just so it don't get cold? And even special Viking cloaks. That's just, oh, the big fur cloak. Yep, that's the one. That looks lovely and toasty. Now, the downside we've got here is, yes, it's 867, and every single one of these territories around here is, in fact, yeah, tribal. So everyone's just going to basically be murdering everybody else for the time being. That means I'm going to be needing friends, like, fast. Here we go. My son could marry, yes, the daughter of the Duke of Sailland. That's got to be some good stuff right there. Okay, I'm also going to apologise in advance. I'm going to mispronounce literally every name in the world, and that's just going to be a thing. That gets 1,500 troops on my side. Absolutely spectacular. Me and him can share this bit of land. That's all absolutely a-okay. Not going to be matrilineal, so good. Good. And once that's sorted out, that means I can get myself a good wife too. Lovely. Here we go. Nice low-born woman here. Good traits, good stats. She can kind of offset my low diplomacy. And she's actually pretty good on the old, martial as well. Lose a tiny bit of prestige, but don't you worry, it's a tribe. That's not difficult to come by. So, yes, we'll be marrying her, get a handful more children out, everything is lovely. And looks to me like my next door neighbours have just naffed off to go and do a little bit of raiding. So, okay, basically, bad decision. Because I'm pretty sure, buddy, you've got... Yeah, that's literally all you've got, and it's less than what I've got. So, basically, you're in a spot of trouble now. Attacking other Norsemen, so yeah, just 50 flipping faith in order to move in. Should be nice and easy. If he tries to come back and defend, well... He's not going to be able to do much because he's going to have recently disembarked. And brand new longship icon. Very, very nice indeed. Right, everyone nice and in play. Move over here. Begin the siege. Not sure I'll even bother trying to defend it, to be honest. And, oh, he's sort of... Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back. And I think he's going to try and... He's going to try and land on top of us. Which was... Buddy, you've made bad decision. Now, admittedly, he's got archers. By archers, I mean he's got 5 people with bows. Yeah, we're going to be doing some good smushing, and we also did some good... the first head rep of this entire playthrough. Lovely. How long is this going to take, by the way? Okay, this is going to take a while, because, you know, we haven't really got technology. We might not have discovered ladders yet, but we have at least picked up somebody straight away in the old dungeon. Might be able to sell him for a little bit of money. Nope, his leader doesn't want him back, but if I wanted to, I could recruit him myself. Okay, he wouldn't make a good champion. To be honest, you can just sort of stay there, because... Okay, so my religion's not as violent as it used to be. The PR people have been in to have a little bit of a look-see at the Norse religion. Because over here, there used to be, like, you know, bloody whip, human sacrifice, etc, etc. Now, there is still human sacrifice, but now we keep it to the special human sacrifice festivals, okay? We don't just do it all of the time, damn it. And we've also picked up a couple of new virtues here. So yes, being one-eyed, that's a virtue. And being a poet, that's a virtue now too, which is lovely. Oh, he's coming in for one last suicide charge because, honestly, he's got no reason not to. He's about to lose everything. So, I mean, you know what? Well done, but I'm not convinced it's gonna go well for you. So, in fact, if anything, you've just handed me a couple of berserkers. So thank you, that's very kind. Right, war over, hand over territory, thank you very, very much indeed, and there we go, now we're starting to build something. And I'll give you, it's nice to have more territory, but yeah, control, 0, taxes, 0, levies not looking hot in many ways. So, okay, what we need to do really is probably get some buildings up. Now, because I'm tribal, I can partially do that with prestige, but money, there's the problem. So... I mean, it sure would be nice if there was something I could do as a Viking. Like some other country, like somewhere over here, say, where I could... Oh, these guys look like they've got money. Still, may as well just top up my levies first. And on top of that, yes. You may have noticed here, men-at-arms regiments. One, don't forget I'm a tribal, so I get to actually buy and maintain those using prestige, which is very, very good indeed, because prestige is... pretty easy to boost, especially if you go into the diplomacy trees in particular. But you may notice some extra new things there. Yeah, the Norsemen have got some new toys. A lot of new toys, actually. So, we always used to have the herds. That we used to have already. So, we already got Huskarls. Now, Huskarls were great. Because, yeah, your basic heavy infantry elsewhere in the world, that's 33 and 22 in attack and defense. Huskarls, yeah, 42, 26, and they can also even effectively screen. So, yeah, they just flipping slaughtered other armoured footmen. They were brilliant. So, that was great. We thought that was really good. Before the Northern Lords DLC showed up, because now we know that we were fools. Because there's a new flipping king in town. Just look at these. Varangian Veterans. 47 attack, 30 defense, and they've even got a little bit of pursuit on them. Pursuit is great. Not many troops get flipping pursuit. So, yeah, just compare them to the basic armoured footmen. At this point, they will slaughter everything in front of them. And they can even counter heavy cavalry. Alright, not just spearmen, heavy cavalry as well. The other toys, however, are rather interesting because rather than just being, hey, it's this unit type but better, they're kind of like alternative, which I find much more interesting. So, your basic archers, 25 damage, 10 defense. That's your lot. The Vigmen are technically worse in terms of the actual base damage they do. Only 18, but they're much better defensively, and they've also got a giant pile of screening. Now, to my mind, I don't value that highly, because how many battles are you going to be depending on your attack? Well, like, all of them. You're always going to be using your attack, and you're almost always going to be using your defense. But screening, if you're doing a decent job and you're not taking bad fights, that should only come up, like, you know, once or twice a century. So it's kind of the least important stat to my mind, but it's fun that there's like, you know, variants. You can still build the basic bowman, now you've just got choices. Now the Bondi are more interesting, they're a variant of spearmen, but you may notice, yeah, they're a fair whack cheaper than actual pikemen are. So they don't hit as hard, they don't defend as well, they do come with a tiny bit of pursuit, but on top of that, yes, they actually do counter archers. Now normally, you wouldn't be able to counter archers until you get light cavalry out, and light cavalry's pretty bloody expensive, so having the ability to get something on the field that is 1, cheap, 2, can actually counter cavalry just like any spearman can, 3, can also deal with archers, and 4, comes with a bit of pursuit. Yeah, it's kind of like spearmen and cavalry all in one for a pretty damn cheap package. So when you're in the early game and you can't afford a big diverse army and you need the maximum amount of coverage for the minimum amount of investment, the Bondi are pretty darn good. Plus there's one other piece of the puzzle you might have noticed down over here as well, which is the Viking troops gain winter effects. This isn't just for the Northern Lords DLC, by the way. This is for everyone. This is just part of 1.3. So if you've got the base game, you've now got winter. So, I mean, I know winter always happened, but now it's a bit more meaningful. So conveniently, I didn't plan this, by the way, it just happened. Yeah, it's November right now, so you can see there's a tiny bit of snow on the ground, meaning right now, it is a mild winter. Now, in general, that means, yeah, there's going to be more supply loss. Most people don't really want to go to war during winter. It's going to eat into your supplies a lot more to represent the fact you can't really, like, you know, scavenge, because there's going to be nothing you can eat as you're just marching through enemy territory. So, yes, winter, gonna be a problem. Just nip further up north over here, we got ourselves, yes, normal severity winter. So all of a sudden, yeah, the supply loss gets worse and worse. Not sure we've got any, any severe winters? Is that severe? That looks pretty severe. There we go, that's a harsh winter right there. So all of a sudden, yeah, things are starting to get really bad. Got a little snowstorm going on everything. So defenders start gaining advantages, supply loss starts going bananas, and fatal casualties starts going up because people start dying of, like, frostbite or whatever. So, yeah, fighting in winter, bad idea. Do not invade countries during winter. Just, in general, bad call throughout history. The Vikings, however, point and laugh at your cowardice not invading Russia during winter or whatever. No. They get bonuses. So, mild winter doesn't count, but during a normal winter, or a harsh winter, they just get a big old pile of bonus. So, bonus damage, bonus pursuit. Because, yeah, their enemies are going to be more slowed down than they are. So, that's not insignificant, right there. So, all of a sudden, actually, if you compare that to, like, you know, a basic pikeman, it's not quite enough to catch up, but it closes the gap quite significantly. I mean, cavalry only have a pursuit to 30. Bondi in winter, they're at 17. That is not bad. This has been retroactively added to the old Huskars as well, so they're now getting +6/+6 during harsh and normal winters. So the Vikings might just want to be saying, you know what? There's a harsh winter. Let's get in there because we can hit much harder than the enemy can. We've suddenly got a massive advantage. So go on, let's get some of them Bondi out. They're nice and flexible. So, yeah, just 2 of them. We'll have 200 Bondi. We'll let them recover. We'll let our levies come back. We'll just wait and see what comes up for the time being. Okay, while waiting for the troops to come in, there's a whole bunch of new decisions you can take. So, yeah, loads of new flavour added to the Vikings. In particular, I just picked up a brand new son. Isn't that just lovely? His name's Vagan. I assume I'm pronouncing that wrong along with everything else, but what can you flipping do? I'm sure he's going to turn out... Okay, apparently he's a bit on the small side, so he might not be good at dueling, but that's fine. Okay, we are Vikings. That could be a bit of a problem. But as a result of that, we get to raise a runestone, because an important thing just happened. So, okay, why not? Basically, this is swapping, yeah, not much money for a pretty damn big pile of piety and prestige. That is not bad. Not bad at all. Okay, it turns out I'm not happy about my son. Possibly because, as I say, my son might be a bit small for my Viking tastes. Instead, the stone was to commemorate my victory in war, and this guy who's now just doing the rounds in a pub. So, I'm very sorry. I kind of thought it was for my son, but no, it's not. Instead, we're going to be setting up a stone to say, hey, remember that time we just went next door and stole their stuff? Good times, eh? And because it was about winning a war, that means it is a Conquest Runestone. So, now this is actually rather useful. This makes control grow. So, honestly, this territory I just took over, which right now has basically no control, whatsoever. If I slap down a runestone right there saying, hey, I beat you, sucks to be you guys, hooray for me, I get a massive increase in control right there. Okay, that's really worth doing. That's a great deal. Yes, of course, and I worship multiple gods, but that doesn't mean I can't have a favourite. Probably shouldn't, tell the other gods about that. I've read enough Greek tragedy to know where that goes. But, yes, you're now allowed to pick a personal deity too. So, I see no reason why I shouldn't do that inside a temple, lovely. So, okay, I can decide to follow Odin. That's intrigue up and also piety per dread. Alright, for the right character, that could be pretty big, but my dread is not spectacular. Alternatively, what have we got here? So, martial up together with movement speed in provinces affected by winter. Okay, interesting. An advantage in winter, +2. So again, the Vikings can just get in during the exact time when everyone else is at their weakest. That's what I love about this. I love expansions and DLCs that make different cultures distinct from each other. Because now, in winter, everyone else is going to be like, you know what? Let's just hunker down. Let's not bother until spring. It would be a bad idea to push the offensive at this point. And the Vikings just like, nope, in we come. We are now at our best. Screw you. We're going to invade your stupid country and get it done before all this lovely snow gets away. I love it. It's just spectacular. Alternatively, Thor, that is stewardship, but also prowess, which is pretty good. Or alternatively, okay, sexy good times. Control up by a tiny, tiny amount, but fertility. Okay, I feel like, yes, we're going to be going for the winter invasion. Screw it, that seems absolutely spectacular. I think I can change this again down the line, hopefully, anyway. And, oh yeah, really soon. So you can do that once every 2 years. Great. Okay, the troops are all ready to go. Levies are slowly rising because, yeah, control's now rising over here. But we have got, no money. And we're going to be needing money. You can't do everything with prestige, even as a tribe. So, if I wanted to, say, become a duke, because I feel like it, yeah, we're going to be needing money. And then I can trade money for more prestige, which is arguably more useful to me in general. So, okay. Gonna be honest, someone else has managed to make it to Ireland before me. But they kind of sacked all of it. There's got to be some island that hasn't been taken. Right, somewhere around. There we go. There's some island that hasn't been taken. Right, get everyone on the boat. I assume I'm going to be... Yeah, I'm going to be leading this myself. Marvellous. Alright, lads, everybody ashore. This should take very little time. Yeah, about a month, give or take. Obviously, we could do that faster in time, but for the time being, that's not too bad. That's 15 gold. There's a couple of... Oh, there's 2 churches up the road. Oh, they're kind of worthless, to be honest, but... I mean, I guess I shan't say no. Okay, we're pretty much full up on gold, and... Seriously, you were planning to walk across Oxfordshire to get to the Cherwell, to sail down into the Thames to get back to the... Okay, fine, sure, whatever. Say okay. That strikes me as eminently sensible. We captured this guy, that's what I was about to say. Now, his actual liege doesn't want him back. He's not willing to pay for him. But he is very, very good at the old intrigue. So, I mean, sure, if he'll convert and whatnot. I see no reason why we shouldn't have an incredibly intelligent Welsh spy master. Here we go. Welcome to your new job. Marvellous. Admittedly, it's a little bit worrying to have a spy master who kind of hates me, but he's very good at his job, so this is going to be just fine. New artwork, by the way, just for the Vikings over here. Though I feel like the Chancellor's been hard done by. He used to have a study. Now we make him work outside in a stone circle. Okay, and as we just get into the Cherwell by Oxfordshire right there, yes indeed, it turns out that the real treasure was the friends we kidnapped along the way. And we make it home, 84 gold, 84 prestige as well. Life is looking good. Especially as we can convert that straight into a duchy, meaning if I die suddenly, yes, the duchy goes to my son, the empire doesn't break apart. I am now a mighty Jarl. Oh, okay, well. Well, if I'm a mighty Jarl, then I deserve a big spiky Jarl cap, obviously. Now, time to get out a new tool, because sometimes, even if you're a Viking, the pen is mightier than the sword. Let's have a little look over here. So, Upland. Bjorn Ironside is currently going on a little bit of a rampage, consolidating a lot of territory, so we probably want to keep him on side. So how do we do that? Well, we could send him some money, we could do a sway scheme, or, because I'm a poet, I could send him a poem. And you even get to choose the topic of the poem. So I can send him a poem about how awesome Upland is, which is great. And yeah, this is a diplomacy challenge, so I'm not very good at this. So unfortunately, yes, there's only a 4% chance that this is going to go well, because he is very diplomatic and I'm not diplomatic at all. But what might happen is opinion jumps up very significantly. Absolutely lovely. But what's more likely is the poem's going to be mocked. So I could send him a poem about legacy, or about mourning, which, yeah, starts affecting stress instead, or about strife, that's more about prestige, or I can send them a poem saying, you suck, I hate you, you're just the worst person in the world. So regardless of whether the poem's good or bad there, yeah, he's not going to like that. So there's good stuff you can do here. This is basically like sending an insult in Stellaris. You can send deliberately bad poetry to people just to annoy them. Here we go. This idiot next door who's also... You're wearing the same cloak as me, aren't you? Unacceptable. That was my cloak. I was doing it before it was cool. And you may notice he doesn't have a poem about mourning, because which poems are available depends on what's going on in their life. So I assume the guy in Upland has recently lost somebody. So he's probably stressed about that. If you've got a poet friend and someone dies, they might send you a nice poem to commemorate the person, and it could lower your stress, which is really, really lovely. So yeah, I'm just going to send this guy a poem saying, hey, you suck. It's probably going to be a pretty good poem, and it's going to potentially stress him the flip out. No, I got unlucky. The poem was actually terrible, but even so, this guy now just doesn't like me, but he did just gain some prestige because he was able to mock my poem because it was so bad. Okay, I just wanted to go for a nice hunt to get my stress down a tiny bit, but it turns out something may have gone wrong. Okay, I've got a bit lost. I've eaten the horses. I mean, this is all new to me. I didn't even know I was in the mountains, but apparently I am. So, yeah, everyone's hungry, and potentially we're not getting back to civilization within the week. So, I can just say no, I could do this, but that's going to leave me with a moderate health penalty. Or, we could eat the servants. Alright, because serving the servants up for dinner, that just strikes me as appropriate. I mean, what's the worst that could happen if I occasionally enjoy eating people? Okay, I was just going to clear out the old dungeon, because yeah, I've picked up 3 mostly useless people, so you'd be worth a favour. Favours don't pay the damn bills, mate, but if I execute him, yes, under the new religious system, I can sacrifice him, meaning I now gain piety, together with a bit of dread, not the worst thing in the world, or, now I'm a cannibal secretly, I could do a bit of beheading and devouring, which actually, wow, that's a lot of stress. Now, I think there is a chance I could get ill. Okay, because, yeah, you've got to do it quickly before anyone sees, so I don't really have time to wash him or anything, so, I mean, I may as well, to be honest. Hopefully I just won't get ill. Oh no, never mind, I shouldn't have eaten that corpse. Okay, prestige is looking good. Let's set up a new unit of archers, and then also grow them to size 2. So, 400 men representing my professional men-at-arms regiments. Lovely. Oh, but here's where things get interesting. You see, I've been saving up prestige for something very important indeed. Something that all Norse people can now do. Adventuring is back on the menu. Now, if you know you Crusader Kings 2, you might be roughly familiar with adventuring. People decide, hey, I'm gonna be an adventurer, I'm gonna, like, go over there, and I'm gonna conquer that, and maybe you want to help me, maybe you don't. But, it's been a bit on the expanded side for the good old men of the North. You see, what I could do is I could just point at somebody and say, hey, I'm gonna declare war on you, and I'm going on a Varangian adventure. And the fun thing about an adventure is, this isn't really like a conquest or a subjugation, it's basically like a mass migration. if I were to do an adventure, then at the end of it, you don't get to keep what you've already got. That just becomes independent. You're basically swapping your old kingdom for a brand new one. This is available pretty early on to low-level characters. Like normally, Conquer Duchy, you need to be level 3 in terms of prestige. You can do Varangian adventures at level 2, so people can just get on this relatively early on in their life, and as you can see there, yes indeed, certain people, North Germanics, and that includes me and a whole bunch of other Norse folk, they get some bonus special soldiers depending on how much land they control in Scandinavia. So I'm going to get some special extra troops to help out with this as well. But, Cornwall, no, we've got our sights set higher than Cornwall. Because I can't help but notice that Mercia's looking very, very flimsy right now. Like, ludicrous amounts of flimsy. So, how about we just say, no, not that. How about yes, the petty kingdom of Mercia. How about we just have this and this and this and this and this and this and this. So basically, yeah, I'm trading, what is that? 3 very poor tribal little territories that have got nothing in them for 6 way more developed, way richer, just basically, yes. This is one of those yes scenarios. Now, when I say yes, I mean no, because this is going to go wrong, because everyone here is going to hate me, because I've just basically invaded. But, yes, I feel like this is a thing we should do, though, maybe just for safety. Let's get some extra friends on board right here. So how about one of my daughters marries one of your sons? That's all a perfectly good idea. Okay, so now I am at war, and 600 men have just flocked. Who are these men, by the way? They are... okay, they're actually really good. So we get ourselves 300 heavy infantry and 200 spearmen. They're Bondi, actually. That's Varangian Veterans. That's... wow. Okay, so basically I've won, because those 300 troops can just... right, well that's nice. That's nice right there. That's just marvellous. By the way, would you guys like to be in on this? Because I'd appreciate it. Right, raise the remainder of my armies. Absolutely everyone, if you'd be so kind. And, yep, you guys are coming along too. Merge those forces together. 1,988 troops, including ludicrous mega forces. Okay, now this'll flippin' do the job. And okay, I'm gonna be honest. I was kind of hoping you'd come and help me, actually, rather than vice versa. Who are you attacking? You're attacking East Francia. Okay, how are you doing in that war? Oh, you're doing well. Fine. I'm gonna say yes in that case, but I'm not actually planning to go. Right, deploy the troops, including my Varangian ludicrous mega murder machines, over in this direction. We'll start picking apart Mercia. It's going to be just fine, and yes, indeed, I'm going to be leading this myself, and I'm pretty sure you don't have enough money to get any troops out. No. No. You're in a lot of flippin' trouble, mate. And that's before the rest of my friends show up. When I say the rest of my friends, I think... okay, you sent 22 men to assist, which I'm gonna be honest, I was hoping for more than that, yes. Right, begin the siege. That's gonna take... oh, bloody hell, that's gonna take 16 months. Why is that gonna take 16 months precisely? Oh, probably because they've got good technology going on here. Okay, maybe we want to just go straight for the capital. And, oh, that's behind enemy. Okay, this might take a while longer than I was anticipating, but I can just about afford it, because, yes, I'm paying prestige, nothing else, aside from the fact supplies are getting a bit on the low side. I mean, this should start escalating as events start occurring. So, yeah, if we get lucky and there's desertion and whatnot, we'll be all absolutely fine. Also, I am trying to raise my daughter at the same time, because, yeah, she's looking potentially good on the old martial side, and that could be very useful for another very specific reason we'll be getting to later. Aha! Here comes the actual bloody allies. About bloody time you guys showed up. Okay, it's taken a very long time, but we've taken precisely 1 bit of territory. And not even the whole county, I don't think, because there's another cocking barony over here. So, okay, we have taken 1 thing. 1 thing is what we've taken. Can we just maybe go over to... Let's just move over to the capital. It'll cost us 100 men, but, like, it's definitely a good idea. Just go over there right now. And, yeah, they're trying to guard their capital, and it is winter. This is a good time for me. Okay, so, yeah, they've got, like, 800 troops on the move right now. This is presumably going to take... Yeah, this is going to take a while again, but if we're lucky, we'll be picking up, say... Oh, good! They've been clever enough to go and attack somewhere else. So, yes, we can siege 2 places at once. That's fine. And now he's going to try and take this back, but it's going to take him a while. We should be able to be done with his capital before he's done taking anything back. So that's got to be for the best. Here we go. We have got Leicester almost done, but more importantly, Warwick is about to be taken. If we're very lucky, we might capture some people. And we have got ourselves... Okay, I think we got your wife. That is sadly not worth much to you in terms of the rest of this. But that's got to be worth something good. That's at 83%. Okay. How long until you've taken that? 2 months out. Alright. In that case, deploy the troops over there. We are going to slaughter this guy. And yep, everyone's joining him. He's going to have to retreat or he's going to die. And he chooses death. Marvellous. I appreciate it when he chooses death. So, choppy, choppy, chop. Maybe capture a king, if we're very lucky. Kill some people. And we've also captured an earl. Marvellous. Oh, and we won, too. So, okay, this is where things might get a bit weird. So, right now, I live over here, and I've won this war. So, what we're going to do instead now is enforce my demands. So, I just get to take the entire petty kingdom of Mercia immediately. In the event I already had any landed family over here, they'll just, like, be reassigned territory over here. All old titles will just be destroyed or given independent. All old landed family titles destroyed, given independent. I gain 300 gold from somewhere. Any of my vassals just become independent, and I become an adventurer. So martial plus level of fame, prowess per level of fame. And that's pretty good, because as I say, fame is not difficult to boost up. But the big one is men-at-arms maintenance minus 50%. Though general opinion is down, because apparently adventurers are like, you know, unpredictable and go around the world burning down everything. Lardy flipping dar. I mean, okay, we'll be enforcing that, and now... Okay, now I'm the new king of Mercia, because why wouldn't I be? And meanwhile over here, yes, this is now just all broken up into... I don't know if these people have just been invented, or if, like, you know, they were old local lords or something. I have no clue. But yes, I now have the Jarldom of Mercia. So, I've got 7 territories. I'm now technically losing money. But this is... I'm sure this is all fine. Also, for reasons I'm not 100% sure of, I decided that Northampton, rather than Warwick, was going to be my capital. Despite the fact it's... yeah, like, less developed. Popular opinion is, I'll admit, a bit on the low side. There are definitely concerns. Okay, we should bring the council over here, by the way. You guys might want to, like, say, convert some part of this territory. That's going to take... It's going to take 17 years. Okay, so that's going to take 17 years. I'll admit that's moderately concerning, yes. Okay, time to hand out some territories here. What I'm going to do is my spy master, who is Welsh, we're going to give him Worcester, which is not in Wales, but, like, it's close by, so it's fine. Congratulations. One day, that guy will accept I've done him a favour by kidnapping him. Now, this does mean I've kind of feudalised my empire because I just moved into feudal space. So, okay, I think we've just kind of, yes, made ourselves into a feudal territory, which is probably good. And here's nice, by the way. Plenty of these territories seem to be... yeah, they've got a decent level of control. So this style of invasion does not completely knacker control like others do. So I've got like 76 control right now. And to be honest, if this isn't... okay, we can't raise a runestone because we kind of did one fairly recently. Okay, we probably shouldn't have raised a runestone so early over here. That was a little bit on the unnecessary side, but I'm sure it's fine. Oh, and because I'm now feudal, yes, I'm actually paying my troops money rather than... ooh, oh, that's interesting. Yes, now I've moved... okay, so, yes, I've kind of feudalised myself. I didn't really mean to, but I have feudalised myself. So that's nice. Though I feel like now I'm a feudal king, yeah, I deserve something like a Norse... oh, that's nice. The Norse crown has also got dangly bits on it. Yes, that'll do. Also, I just realised I forgot to actually disband my armies, because, yes, I was still technically at war. So, okay, now I've done that, the economy's looking much better. Oh, and here's fascinating too. Those Varangian Veterans, I've still got them. They're just sort of here. And even more than that, I actually get to, pass them on. Oh, and here we go. My daughter has come of age. She's picked up tier 3. Okay, so my daughter is, yes, pretty good at the old martial, and 9 in prowess, though she is unfortunately frail, which is a bit of a shame, and that's kind of hurting her prowess. But regardless, she's pretty good. So. Oh, darn it. Okay, you can make someone a shield maiden, but they've got to be good enough to be worth it. And tragically, because she is literally an egg, she's not good enough. So, okay, I feel discriminated against at this point, personally. Like, you know, I'm against this egg-related prejudice. And as control starts ticking up here, even with taxes currently not desperately happy with me, you can see here this was worth it. Like, I am making a lot more money than I was. Like, a huge amount more money. And yes, at this point, as indeed many Vikings once they settled did, I have the option to convert to local culture and indeed attempt to enforce everybody else going over too. So, all of my vassals, all of my family, diddly diddly dee. So everyone becomes Anglo-Saxon and Catholic. But no, because we haven't even had a mass human sacrifice festival yet. Oh, now here's fun. I think this is new as well. So, right, one of my champions who's a berserker has decided to come up to me and say, hey, maybe you're not, like, you know, enough of a badass. Maybe you're not as much of a badass as me. How about me and you go sit round the fire and do some, like, Scandinavian drugs or something? Yeah, screw it. Let's flippin' do this, alright? Fetch me a bear pelt. I'm gonna be wearing one of them, and... okay, I may have just suddenly... oh, I think I just... that's my son. I tell you what, that little scar, that's gonna do him some good, alright? It gives him some character. So I am a berserker, but I'm also about to go... uh-oh. Okay, I might be about to go bananas. So, yeah, I've gone slightly bananas. That's fine. That's fine. We just need to have... yes, let's go for a lovely feast. Okay, everybody have a nice feast, and if we're lucky, I've managed to get my... stress down. I think I've got my stress down fast enough. I don't have a mental break, so that's lovely. Also, John, that's not the sort of feast you're supposed to be having. You know what sort of feast you're supposed to be having. Alright, we keep prisoners in the prison for precisely this reason. There we go, that's much better. Hopefully, he wasn't sick. I did get sick from eating the last guy I ate. Also, I've decided I'm just going to go and get my old territory back, or at least, like, you know, a little bit of it. Like, it's nice I'm Mercia, but I feel like I shouldn't lose touch with my roots, damn it. Yep, 50 piety will get me a nice little war against you. Just move in, sort that out, no trouble at all. There we go. So I became Mercia, then Mercia came back to retake all of this, alright? It's the circle of life. I'm gonna be honest, though, I did have, an ulterior motive to heading back over here and taking this territory, and that is, this territory still worships, you know, the true faith, where we kill people, hang up their corpses, occasionally eat them, but I'm not sure we're supposed to be doing that one, that might just be me. We're converting this territory, but it's gonna take a while. Over here, though, no. These guys are completely 100% up for celebrating all of my beautiful, beautiful traditions. So, how about we hold a grand blot? Alright, a great big sacrifice festival. This is, oh, this is good, except, ooh. Okay, we're gonna be needing some more money. I think we need plenty of money for this. Okay, got some Irish money, some Welsh money, even some rather sexy Brittany money. So, okay, that's probably enough money to make this happen. So, here we go. We're gonna hold a grand blot over here in this territory that used to be mine. Then I voluntarily gave it up. Then I counter-invaded it to get it back, because you just can do that, so screw it. So, yes indeed, here we go. 200 prestige, that's nothing. But we have to decide how big it's going to be. So, 75, 100, or... this is too expensive. Okay, 100, that's not bad. Literally everybody is coming to my grand blot, damn it. But here's the big decision. So my grand blot can be a nice, humble, intimate thing. You know what? Getting back to the true meaning of blot, just hanging out with friends and doing whatever you do at a blot. or it can be a grand affair. And yes. By tradition, we sacrifice humans, so several prisoners will be offered to the gods, maybe even a special choice. Ooh, now that's what I'm interested in. So. Technically, we could say that's abhorrent, we don't want to sacrifice humans, but you know what? No. Tradition matters, the god shall taste human blood. So, yes, absolutely, the people who follow my religion are gonna love this. They're gonna absolutely flippin' love this. The people who don't, they might have a bit of a problem. So I'm gonna be honest, the Anglo-Saxons in Mercia, they might not be thrilled about this. But, optionally, you may designate a chief sacrifice from amongst your own prisoners, which is just too hilarious not to do. And guess who I've been keeping in prison for exactly this scenario? This is, if I recall correctly, the wife of the guy I beat to take over Mercia. So, yes, congratulations, you are going to be the star of the show. And yes, the preferable sacrifices are landless characters whose faith is either hostile or evil, so that's fine. She's Catholic, so we're golden. Landed characters of higher rank, or, ultimately, heads of faith. So, if you could capture the Pope, you could make him the chief sacrifice at your human sacrifice festival. And, yes, that's just too wonderful to not do. Tragically, we can't do it today, but seriously, if that had been an option when I was doing my full Viking series, yes, we'd have done that. Now, we also captured the husband of the woman who was running this territory, which, to be honest, I kind of gave it to her, or rather, I gave it to her predecessor, but... Okay. Here's where poetry also gets a bit more interesting. So, if we need to do just a little bit of torture, say... Taking out the long volume of poetry from my arm, I unfurl it, letting the scroll hit the floor and roll gently backwards out the door. Then, I start my reading. Poets commit torture by reading terrible poetry. It's amazing. And it's really effective too. Like, 100 stresses straight away, enough to knock him over to a mental break. This is wonderful. The guests at the blot are so numerous that they blanket the area around the temple, sending up a cacophonous roar as Ethelswith is dragged up to the altar, the first of several prisoners and more beasts. She thrashes ferociously as the Godar throttles her life away, the light in her eyes lasting till the first animal is slaughtered. Human corpses to the hanging tree, animals to the cooking fire. And while no one's looking, maybe a couple of human corpses to the cooking fire as well, as long as, yes, no one's going to find out about it, it's fine. All the gore is collected in a bowl, and my priest uses it to paint the walls of the temple, inside and out, a spectacle worthy of the gods. Magnificent. And now, I get to choose what's going to happen next. So... okay, because I'm zealous, I can make a big proclamation to the gods, which is marvellous. So as a result of that, yep, opinion up of, I assume that's my... yeah, that's my priest. So she's happy about that, and I lose 10 million stress. And yes, all of my counties that follow my religion, they are thrilled about this. The counties that don't, they're actually horrified by human sacrifice and now popular opinion. Okay, so I've probably just started a rebellion. Yeah, here they come. They say it's about taxes. I think it's more about the murdering and possibly eating of their former queen. Gonna be honest, lads, you didn't think this one through, did ya? No, I thought not. Ooh, and here's an odd revelation. So, okay, one of my middle daughters has ended up with a catastrophically bad education, but she's pretty good at murder anyway. To be honest, she's an aggressive attacker. I tell you what, you're going to be a shield maiden, and you don't need persuading, because, yeah, I'm not sure you've got too many better options with a level 1 education. So, welcome aboard, my first ever shield maiden. From now on, I'm going to be fighting alongside one of my own daughters. Marvellous. In fact, she's straight to being, yeah, my 5th most powerful warrior, so we're building one a hell of an army right here. Oh, flip me, it happened. Okay, so one of my friends, who's also a poet, possibly because I inspired him to be a poet, has decided to write me a poem, because, as I understand it, Crusader Kings 3 can now dynamically create poetry by just, coupling words together and try and make them vaguely appropriate. So, Okay, the peace deals with success and growing greatness, he has dedicated it to me. Though conflict brings wrath to all someday, none are so blighted as this hero's prey. Then all shall tremble as he takes field, all fire and fury and thundering wields. I'm gonna be honest, that's not bad. I'm pretty happy about that. That's lovely. Yep, opinion up, giant pile of prestige. I love you, man. Thank you so much. Oh, and here we go, the last big surprise. So yes, part of the reason I wanted Renown up from having a duke by marriage, I've just been marrying my children off wherever they can go, is yes indeed, the Renown system and the legacies have had a bit of an overhaul. Again, this isn't actually Northern Lords itself, this is just part of the 1.3 update, but it's pretty darn good anyway. I like this change. You may recall previously, yeah, the situation was you had to spend a certain amount of renown, then even more renown, even more, ridiculous amounts of renown. Like, in my first playthrough, I was playing for centuries, I never got anything past level 3. It just kind of made the higher tiers basically inaccessible to my mind, so I never really got up to them. Well, now it's dynamic. The first one is a bit on the cheap side, so for just 250, you get your first, and then they're just going to get more and more expensive over time. Now, to me, this feels like a pretty good balance, because it felt like you weren't getting enough of them in the game as it was at launch, especially as, you may have noticed by the way, I'm kinda hiding something from ya. Because sure, you've got the same 7 we ever had, but if you are a Northern Lord, there's more. They have access to 2 unique, special dynasty legacies, and these are really, really good. Alright. Adventure is okay. Pillage is golden. We'll get to pillage in a second. So, adventure starts off pretty strong, I'll admit. Wanderlust. Diplomatic range plus 30%. So, basically, that's really good, because that means you can declare war further away. You've got to be in diplomatic range to declare war. And if you can declare war, then you can just migrate somewhere. And I did spot one thing in particular about this. The diplomatic range, when you're over here in Scandinavia, it kind of reaches to about Hungary, or thereabouts at the start of the game. You add 30% onto that, you're in range of the Byzantine Empire. At that point, you could just say, hey, Byzantine Empire, I'm just going to take over flipping Constantinople. And speaking of which, it does mean you've got the decision to send someone to the Varangian Guard as well, which is very good, because that's a really, really good trait. And it's a good way of forcing your sons to be a bit better. I'm pretty sure I've got one person who... you went to the Varangians, didn't you? Yes, you just got back from Varangians. So, diplomacy plus 2, prowess plus 2, martial plus 2. That's a good thing worth having if otherwise your sons are just going to be sitting around doing nothing. The rest of it's not quite so exciting. Gifts being cheaper, that's nice. Strange gods is useful, so yeah, if you've got differences of faith, then it causes less of a problem, but you can kind of convert people as the game goes on fairly easily. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Supply duration, hostile scheme chance down, and movement speed. Bit of a random bunch of stuff, but it's all useful. Supply duration in particular, if you go in far afield, could be very, very useful. And finally, make friends with your vassals in order to get a bit more money. That one feels a bit flimsy for that far down, but hang on, let's go over to pillage, because pillage is marvellous. So, start off with Sea Wolves, naval speed up, prestige and fame from battle, plus 100%. Now, if you watch my first series, you'll know, especially if you get involved in holy wars, the amount of prestige and fame you can get from battles is already a lot. You take this and, yeah, basically one holy war, you are set for the rest of the game. You are golden. Always space in the hold. Obviously, this is all about raiding, and it's just wonderful. So, loot capacity up, defender advantage up, and max size of heavy infantry regiments plus 2. Nice to have, but here's the golden one right here. Practice kidnappers, plus 50% gold from ransom, and you gain prestige from ransom as well, and you're more likely to be imprisoning characters after a successful siege or raid. So your prisons are going to be bulging and you're going to be selling them for a lot of money. And again, if you watch my first series, you're going to know the amount of money you can make from ransoms is dumb. And it just got dumber and I love it. Fatal casualties up is great, especially in long extended drawn out wars. And gold from battles, 5 per 100 fatal casualties. So it's really now incentivized to go heavy on things that can kill. And as I pointed out before, some of your new troops do have pursuit built in. So Vikings now have a big incentive to go big on pursuit, big on the military perks that give you bonus fatal casualties. Stack all that together, oh, it's sexy. And then finally, daily siege progress plus 25%, which is, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Arguably not good enough to go all the way down to the end for, but still, not bad at all, and you lose extra control when you're occupying an enemy territory, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because if you're occupying a territory, there's a good chance you might want to take it over, so you don't really want control to be down, but I mean, I'm not sure whether that triggers when raids happen. Occupied suggests not raiding, but what can you do, eh? There is one thing I should clarify, by the way, which is, you know how we use the lovely adventure? So, every person who's Norse can do that. And when I say every person who's Norse, I don't just mean the landed people. Just like in Crusader Kings 2, you know, your sons and various relatives sitting around who've got nothing to do might just decide, screw it, I'm gonna go press my claim somewhere. If you're Norse, they might do the same thing, but they don't even need a claim. They might just say, you know what, I'm bored. I'm gonna go conquer Ireland because I feel like it and I've got nothing better to do. At which point, they'll try and put together a private war band, and we haven't seen it, unfortunately, today. I haven't actually seen one of those forming, but yes, that's pretty exciting that everyone in the Norse culture can just do that. That's pretty darn cool. Now, there is one thing, but unfortunately I didn't actually get to see it because despite my best efforts, everybody flipping likes me. You see, there's now a system of dueling. Dueling is back in the game, so you can do single combat, but it's either got to show up in an event or you've got to do it to a rival. And despite my best efforts, sending out terrible poetry, torturing people with my poetry, other war crimes featuring poetry, I don't have a single rival. But don't worry, I'm gonna find someone who does. Here we go, I've done a quantum leap up to the Danelaw, and conveniently, the King of the Danelaw does have a rival. I've released him from prison, I had captured him, but I've decided to let him go. And I've decided to let him go because now I can challenge my rival to a fight. They may or may not accept. So, on this occasion, he's likely to do so because he's a fighty lad himself. He likes fighting. So, yeah, he's less likely to do it, though, if he's too far behind me. Now, the victor's going to lose some stress, the loser's going to gain it, and while it says non-lethal, these things can escalate out of hand, potentially. Okay, here we go. A duel involves two people and the environment it's happening in. So this here is happening inside my territory, I assume because he's come to, yeah, the Kingdom of the Danelaw. So it's happening in a nearby British forest. Absolutely flipping lovely. So me and him are now going to fight. This is a lot more complicated than it used to be. What we're basically doing is drawing cards out of a deck. And the quality of the cards is weighted to your level of prowess. So my opponent has a prowess of 9, therefore he's going to be drawing probably just like, you know, normal cards. However, because I've got 21, I've got a better chance of drawing good cards. And each card represents one of these options right over here. You lose if you take too many injuries, but ultimately, if you can build up your likelihood of success enough, then you're going to win by default. So you've kind of got to balance those two things against each other. Some things might massively increase your likelihood of success, but if they're too aggressive, you're risking yourself getting injured, then you lose by default. So here we go. Because I'm a skilled fighter, this is going to be a skilled move. Right here, an expert onslaught. So, very high chance of making me more likely to succeed in the long run, and only a medium chance of getting injured. Alternatively, I could play it safe. I could be defensive. It's not going to do much of the fight one way or the other, but I am basically safe from any form of injury. And same over here, tiring out my opponent. So, it becomes harder to injure myself. So, aha. If I do that now, then going forward, he's not going to be able to do as much. But we've also got to read his personality. What he's going to choose is a function of who he is. So he is vengeful. So maybe if I provoke him, he's going to get a bit sloppy. This strikes me as a good starting point. Let's start things off nice and easy, because combat's going to have multiple rounds. If I don't win this round, it doesn't matter. Combat can have up to 4 rounds. So here we go. Let's see how that went. So, time and again, backpedaling, dodging, and weaving. Always keeping within tempting target distance, and now he's showing signs of exhaustion. Good. But, oh dear, he went for a very aggressive move. He knew he had the disadvantage, so he decided to go all-out attack. So, 1, he is starting to get tired. He's less likely to injure me. But he went on the attack and thus actually did more damage to me than I did to him. He took a risk, it paid off. So, let's go for a confident attack at this point, because low risk of injury and he's less likely to succeed. So at this point, I feel like we can go on the attack a bit, because he's getting tired. So, I'm going to heft an axe. We're going to see how that goes. So, it flows around him like water, but he manages to kick me in the shin, momentarily hobbling me. My form is decent with some lapses, his stance is passable. So, okay, it feels like we've definitely done some good stuff to him, but he's just fighting dirty, which we should have expected, because we knew going into this he was vengeful, he was callous, he was irritable. It makes perfect sense he's fighting the way he's fighting. But you see, I've got an ace up my sleeve, because I am a berserker, and that means I have the option of drawing some berserker business. So, yes, I'd say how about we roar and just start flattening him, because I feel like that's a good option. And in we go. This fight's starting to drag on a bit here. I'm pretty sure it's almost over. So, spittle is flying, axes are whirring, I'm launching myself at my foe, a red mist rips through my mind, everything is rage, blood, and blissful catharsis. So, okay, rapid thumps, almost crushing me repeatedly. My form is good, his stance is formidable, and his guard is fierce. I feel far from victory. Okay, so you think you can beat someone as famous as me? Marvellous. So, okay, I can force him to take some stress right here. If that's what I want to do, if that's my priority, I can stress him out. What else have we got here? Better men than you. Low and no. So, yeah, my only two options right now, I've just drawn two low-risk options. So, it's not going to do much, but there's no way he can injure me either. So, alternatively, I just start mocking him, because he's got a low level of fame, and I've got a good one. So, I feel like, yes, we're just going to block again, and we're going to hope I've done enough. I think this is the final round of combat right now, and thanks to my two attacks in round 2 and 3, we should be golden. And single combat, victory. No foe breaks my guard. My opponent today is no exception. I force him back time and time again with a chain of perfect parries, only offering a devastating powerful cleave when he's utterly exhausted. He hurtles backwards, I go with him and bring my axe down on his face, and quite frankly, I'm amazed he's not dead under the circumstances. So he falls, loses his weapon, and now he yields. And as a result of that, I lost 54 stress, but gained 60 over the course of that fight. So overall, I've basically gained nothing at all. But him, he's in much worse shape. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think you get the point. There's a few other little bits and pieces, like, yes, now there's an easier way to set up a beautiful, beautiful Holy Order, various new things. North Sea Empire. Now, that one I'm pleased about. I mentioned this during my series. The North Sea Empire is now a thing. You can actually set up the North Sea Empire, which is really damn cool. Very glad that's there, together with a few other new bits and pieces over Indecisions. But, yes, as I say, I think you get the point, ladies and gentlemen. This here is Northern Lords, the first bit of DLC for Crusader Kings 3, and, oh, it makes Vikings a whole lot more interesting. Not just to play as, but presumably to live nearby to. Once you got a giant pile of Vikings who can just bumble around saying, hey, I'm just going to take over that, you know, entire petty kingdom right now, that's on the interesting side right there. So, we'll leave things off there, though obviously Crusader Kings 3 will be back once we've picked up a few more bits of DLC. I'm sure, sooner rather than later, it will be time for another full campaign. But for the time being, if you've been liking what you see in here and you've been thinking, well, I wouldn't mind playing a bit of that Crusader Kings 3, well, good news for you, because the base game has just gone free to play, starting today until the end of the week. So if you want to play Crusader Kings 3 for free, you can do it right now for the next 5 days, which you can't flipping complain about because it is literally free. So link in the description below to take you through to that, and as I say, we will be no doubt seeing some more Crusader Kings 3 in future. But in the meantime, I've been John, this has been Many a True Nerd, and this has been Crusader Kings 3. Thank you very much, and goodbye.